Hey, ladies, I hope you are off to a wonderful, wonderful weekend. So let's get into the topic. I just want to take the time just to give a special, special, special greeting and shout out to people who have, had long-term friendships, who have been able to weather the storms of life with other individuals and still remain friends. Sometimes y'all may have taken friendship breaks, where maybe you didn't talk all the time, or maybe you didn't talk as much, for whatever reason. Sometimes life will take us down different paths for a season, and we may not be in constant contact or in as much contact with people as we once were. But nevertheless, our loyalty for them remains. We don't go and badmouth them because we're no longer, as close as we once were, or in the season we're not as close. And we don't go and tear them apart to other people, or we don't, bash them for not, calling every day or not reaching out every day, because we understand that everybody has a life, and as you get older, you can't sit on the phone with your friend girls or your homeboys. You can't sit on the phone with them constantly, it's things that need to be done. So yes, hey, you understand everybody have a life, everybody have their responsibilities. So they're just, riding out on the phone all day. Listen, if you still doing that, it's no way you have a productive life. You are not going to make me think that you just ride out on the phone, on social media, or, sitting up at people's house every day. And number one, they ain't tired of you. But number two, that you have a fully productive life, because you do not. So, certain things were a goal when you were in high school because you didn't have nothing else to do but be a kid and talk on the phone and play on people's phone. And just, your whole existence was based on your social life. So yes, you talked on the phone all day, every day, 3, 4, 5 times a day. You did that when you were a child, but now as an adult, you should be operating as an adult and thinking like an adult. So you understand that, hey, listen, I may not talk to my friend or my best friend or my ace boon coon. I may not talk to them for a while. We may not talk this week. We may not talk in 2 weeks, but it does not change my level of respect for them. It does not change the fact that, hey, if they need me, they can call me. And out of their need, I'm going to make some time for them, right? It does not change the fact that their secrets are safe with me. It does not change the fact that, there's love and there's admiration and there is longevity and there is, everything necessary for a friendship to continue. Just because we don't talk every day, it doesn't mean nothing. You have women who they hang together constantly, talk on the phone constantly, and guess what? We'll talk about each other so fast. I'm talking about fast. You hear me? I mean, don't even care for each other. Can't get off the phone fast enough before you saying something about, oh girl, that, child, shit. Like, who in the world in this day and age want friends like that? And man, listen, you gotta miss me with that. You hear me? I'm talking about miss me with that. If it's not genuine, if it's not sincere, if it's not from the depths of the heart, listen, I don't want it. I'm good. Like, I don't care how long I've been knowing you. You hear me? If at any point in time you feel any slighted way that you feel like, hey, I am no longer a person you want to be good with for whatever the reason is, by all means, slide, press on, kick rocks with no shoes on. You hear me? I'm talking about get gone as quick as you can. You hear me? Listen, So like I said, big shout out to the people who have remained friends. I'm talking about just through thick, through thin, who, through your losing family members, losing other friends, losing jobs, going broke, needing to borrow money, just life. If you're able to remain friends and to upkeep your friendship with people through the perils of life, that is a huge, huge thing, because so many times people lose themselves. You hear me? People lose themselves in the everyday wear and tear, struggle and strife of life. So if you are able to not only keep yourself, but you're able to keep your friends, listen, that's an amazing feat in and of itself. Because like I said, people can't maintain their own self. People can't maintain their own securities and mental health and physical health. And like, people cannot, they're overwhelmed just trying to do them, let alone still be able to, be there for you if needed, when necessary, just on the strength of, hey, that's my friend, that's my girl. Like, I don't need nothing, she don't need nothing, we still good. If you're able to have those type of friendships in your life and to have had those for any extended period of time, listen, it's a blessing in itself to have that. And I just want to encourage you to make sure you nurture those relationships. Make sure you let those people know that you love them, that you appreciate them being in your life. You appreciate the bond that y'all have. That it's respect, there is love, it's trust, is admonition, is admiration. It's everything that a good relationship is built out of. So many times as women, we overly focus on the relationships with men, and then we under focus on the relationships with women, because we feel like, hey, a friend, they come and they go, so you don't put that extra emphasis. You don't salute that. You don't give it the respect that is due. Right. But then the relationship that you're in, you overemphasize that. You overdo that. You do the most for that. And that may or may not sustain itself, especially if you're not married to that person, And in the meantime, your homegirl who done been with you through 3, 4, 5 relationships, you act like that relationship doesn't mean anything to you. You could take that or leave that, But so that's funny, because it speaks to the mindset of women that a lot of times we often prioritize the male situation over the female situation, right? And I salute that when you're married to that man, right? But I can't salute that when you're not married to that man, right? Because in the event that he gets ready to leave, he gets ready to slide, he's cheating, he's taking you up, down, and through there, it's your homegirls that you're going to call. It's your homegirls that's going to listen to you cry and repeat the same stories over and over, till they get healed, till they're tired of talking about the story. It's your homegirls. Who's going to listen to you do that? Right? So like I said, in this season, everybody's experiencing something, on some level of just going through life. Everybody is experiencing something, and if you're not, then, get ready for the ride, because it's coming. You may be coming out of a season, somebody else going into a season, or you're in your season. But nevertheless, in those seasons, is usually those friends, if not, just your relationship with God, is usually going to be some friends, tried and true, that God uses, in some way, shape or form to get you through those hard times, So I encourage you to, respect those relationships, love on those relationships. Nobody wants to just see a person or hear from them when they're in need. That's using a person. That's sorry. That's lame. That's weak. That's, girl, get out my face. Go ahead on with that. I don't hear from you till I need something. I don't hear from you till you and your man going through something. I don't hear from you till, till whenever, till, you down in the dumps, dick in the dirt type things. You feel me? Like, nobody wants to be on the receiving end of a situation like that, because that's not a genuine friendship. And if that's the only way to be someone's friend, then you need to go do the work. You need to go do the work on self, because that's not what being a friend is about. As a friend, you have to be available sometimes for people, even when you may be going through it your own self, And yes, sometimes, friends do need to say, hey girl, can you afford to listen to me today? Because sometimes your friends, they're going through their own thing, and they may be stressed out, so they cannot tolerate what you're about to put on their shoulders as well. So it's a good thing to ask them before you just start venting. But in the event that, they pretty cool, or they can handle whatever they have going on, listen, they gonna listen to you. They gonna give you whatever, positive advice they can give you and help you get through your situation. And they may not even mention that they feeling some kind of way today, that they hurting. They still trying to get over whatever it is they've been going through. You may not even know that they're experiencing anything, So be mindful of that. Check in on your people, especially your strong homegirls, because they're not going to, a lot of times they don't really volunteer a lot, or they say something and they may not mention it again. It don't mean that it ain't bothering them. It just mean that, they probably have a little pride and they don't want to just keep dwelling on it, or they don't want to keep dwelling on it with you, or, whatever. But, check on them and ask them questions too. Don't just dump all your issues on your homegirls and not check in and make sure that they good and that, they will. And if you are that friend that you do check in on your homegirls, and, keep up with that, keep doing that, because that's so appreciated. And, as a woman, I think it's very important that we check in on our, peoples, and just make sure that they're all right. Let them know you love them. Let them know you're there for them, because, we're all human. We're all, experiencing this thing called life together. We're all in places that we've never been before. And just those little things, those little reaching out, those little, texts, those little encouraging words, even if it's sent through a text, they help. They help you get through things. They help you see things clearer. They help just by you knowing that, hey, it's somebody out there that loves me. It's somebody out there that if I left this earth today, they would care, and that alone makes people feel, better and can lift a spirit. So make sure you're checking in on your homegirls and make sure you're being the best friend that you could be.